Hello everyone, Mike here with my 2021 Mustang Mach-E Select all-wheel drive. I'm going to be going on a trip this weekend, and so I figured I would document some of that because I haven't really seen any videos of the standard range battery pack. I've mostly just seen videos of the extended range, either all-wheel drive or rear wheel or the California Route 1 edition, for instance. But this is the Select all-wheel drive standard range battery, 211 mile range. So you can see here that it thinks, we'll have 238 right now. We've only got about 380 miles on the odometer so far. So I've really only had this car for about a week, and I haven't taken it on any long distance trips. You can see, the Select has the metal roof as opposed to the nice glass roof. But this is not our whole trip. This is just to the first charger. This is an Electrify America station in Fredonia, New York. So I'm leaving from roughly Rochester, Spencerport, New York. And I'm going to go visit some friends in Cleveland, specifically in Westlake, Ohio. So we'll get to Fredonia at about 50%, and then we hopefully should be able to get to Mentor at about 10% and do a full 10 to 80% charge. I will try to get some metrics on that. I've got, another phone down here that's got the car scanner app, so I should be able to see the voltage, the current, and the battery power coming in, so we can get a good charging profile for the 68 kilowatt hour standard range battery. This is the first time that I've made a video like this, so if you have any questions about this car or any of the cars I've had in the past, definitely let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them or make a video as appropriate. Speaking of cars I've had in the past, so I've had this car for a little less than a week. I'm coming from a 2019 Standard Range Plus Model 3 that I had for about 2 years, a little over 2 years. Managed to take advantage of the used car market to get out of my lease a little bit early. And before that, for about 2 years, I had a 2015 Nissan Leaf, and that was just the 24 kilowatt hour battery pack. Really only like 60 to 80 miles of effective range. So this is going to be a very different car than that. So I'm pretty familiar with using the Tesla superchargers. I have used one Electrify America station, not in this car, actually in my Leaf on the very last drive I ever did when I was going to go sell it. So I will be able to compare this with the Tesla situation and with what charging my Leaf was like in the past. But anyway, I will see you again when we get to our stop. All right, so we made it to the Fredonia charger with way more range than expected. So you can see, 483.1 miles on the odometer now. We still have 140 miles left in the pack, it thinks. Used about 42% to get here, and that's 103.6 miles to do that. So pretty much the whole trip I was basically seeing that the pack from full to empty would be 240 plus miles, which is quite a lot more than the 211 expected. So I'm going to plug in. I've already started recording some data about energy usage and stuff. So we should hopefully see the pack just take a lot of power in. Although, we are at like 60%, so I'm not expecting, 100 kilowatt, but we will see. So I will hopefully be able to put up a plot of this. One thing to note is that the percentage listed there is not the percentage on the display. They're pretty close right now, but when the pack, or like when it says 100% on the dash, it's definitely not 100% in there. So I plugged stuff into a better route planner and into the navigation in here. We've got 127 miles that we have to go. It says we've got 172 miles of range. I charged up to 70%. A better route planner says we'll use 55%. So we should get there with about 15 if that's a correct estimate, but we could get there closer to like 20%. And I need to turn my volume off. Whatever, that works. Yeah, so we should get there maybe around 15-20%. We will see. My screen apparently is resetting, so that's fun. All right, well, we made it to Mentor. Definitely not as efficient that time, only 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, but definitely good enough. Arrived with 31 miles of range left, 14%, so that should be a good number to work off of for doing a charge up to 80 and get a good idea of the charging curve overall. Again, I've got the app. It says we're actually at 17%, so I will hopefully have data for that, but I'm gonna go plug in, and a Leaf just pulled in next to me, and I also got to run to the bathroom and stuff, so I'm gonna do that, and I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, I just got a notification that we hit 80%. Let's see, 37 minutes, we're at 80%, 42 kilowatt hours. And yeah, we're only taking in 11 kilowatt now. So I'm going to stop the charge. Charging has stopped. Car is now getting quieter. The little vents just closed. I got a notification that's due to a fault in the charger, which is not the case. It's actually that I told it to stop. So plug that bad boy back in, pop that up, close that, and now we are good to go. We are at 80%, which is more than enough for what I need. My next trip is only about 30 miles, if even. It's 30 minutes away or so. We can pop this back on. Charge station fault, see manual. Yeah, so we didn't actually have a charge station fault, so it's not a big deal. All right, well, I made it to my destination with no problems. 163 miles of range left, 67%. Only took 13% to go the 36 miles, which is really not bad at all. Got some great efficiency out of this one, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, which, if that's true, that's real good for this car. Compared to my old Model 3, this is substantially worse. So the Model 3, I would get anywhere between 200 and 250 watt hours per mile, which is between 4 and 5 miles per kilowatt hour. And the Nissan Leaf was pretty similar. I would also get up to 5 or so in the summer, and 3 would be really bad winter weather, and 4 would be a little bit above 4 would be a pretty average trip, and that was mostly highway. So this car obviously has a much bigger battery pack. It's also a much bigger car. It's much taller than the Model 3, although it's actually the same width and length as the Model 3. It's just much taller. I have some video I took of not actually this car, but a different Mach E that I was looking at next to my Model 3. So maybe I'll throw that up. Anyway, I'm probably not going to do any recording of my trip to my friend's house after this. Maybe I'll throw up the trip usage for that, but otherwise I will probably talk to you guys when I'm on my way home tomorrow. My one friend actually has a Model Y, so I snapped some quick pics of the Mach-E next to it. You can see they're just about the same size. There's definitely some differences in dimensions, but in terms of overall vehicle size, they're pretty similar. All right, well, I didn't record a live intro during or when I was leaving, but figure I can show you my stats. I'm now in Erie. I decided to give this one a shot, despite at least one of the chargers. I know that one said unavailable earlier, so hopefully this one next to me is working, but if not, I'll let you know if I move at all. But got here at about 20%, 19% or so. All right, well, the plug and charge appears to have worked, so let's see, what are we gonna get at 20%? I would expect we should get pretty much full speed. 114 kilowatt from the charger. We can check what the car itself is getting. Closer to 107. Either way, not bad at all. All right, well, we ended up charging way more than we needed to get to the next charger, which is going to be in Cheektowaga, New York. As you can see, we've got about 100 miles to get there, and we've got 145 miles of range, so plenty of buffer. I will say this thing has a pretty nice charge curve where it just basically stays at like 80 kilowatt the entire time, which I'm definitely a fan of. So I'm going to get going here in a moment. Maybe eat a Chewy bar. And then I will see you guys in Cheektowaga. All right, stopped in Cheektowaga, again at a Walmart. So gonna charge up here, and then that should be the last charge I need to do. A brief issue with the 150 kilowatt charger where it was only giving me 31 kilowatt for some reason on both cables. So I moved over to the 350, was able to charge up just fine. So I got up to 61% here, and that should be enough that I can get to my mother-in-law's and then home with about 20% remaining, which is plenty comfortable. So dinner's at 6, so I gotta get scooting. I ended up making it just in time for dinner, and then the temperature dropped and a rainstorm came through, so the car sat, and so I ended up with less range coming home than expected, but still plenty of buffer left, so it wasn't a big deal. Overall, the trip was pretty easy to do. The car was consistently getting the rated range or better, the plug-in charge worked well, and it was a nice feature when coming from a Tesla, where all of them plug-in charge. I did encounter some issues with broken Electrify America chargers, but thankfully there was always at least one working stall. I don't have Blue Cruise yet, but the basic lane keeping worked pretty well. Definitely wasn't as good as Tesla's autopilot at reading the lane lines, but the way you actually change lanes, I would say is much nicer than with basic autopilot where you constantly have to disengage it. Overall, I'm very happy with the car so far. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for other videos you'd like me to make about the car. And also check the description for the Google Sheet that has all of the data from this trip, including all of the drives and the charges. So thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.